Hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at your Power Break Cafecito with United Latinas. And I'm just thrilled, happy, first, the beginning of the month of September. Hispanic Heritage Month is coming around the corner. Yay! The beginning of the fall is also here. There's so many beginnings to be grateful for, and I'm especially grateful to have you, Luisa, here with us today to all of these celebrations. So thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful day, wherever in the world you are. Right?
Thank you,
And
Rihanna. So good to
thank
be
you.
here with you and everybody today. Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. And we just have this fantastic topic to talk about. And I just love the synchronicities of things because I just released a blog, well, an article with Hispanic Executive a couple of weeks ago about this specific topic, which is work-life balance or work-life harmony. So I just thought it was interesting that it wasn't planned, it just happened. And now we're here to talk about it because it feels like it's always been important, but this year I think it's just becoming the height of there is no time. Like I just, fast-paced environment, we're all just trying to make ends meet, and I keep hearing from a lot of people like work-life balance, like that doesn't exist anymore. We're on the verge, many of us on the verge of burnout, and people are just not not knowing, like, how do you get to that harmony, to that balance, to feeling like you can have a little bit of a breathing room in the hectic life that we're living. And you have four businesses. You have, like, you're a rock star family, but we'll get into that. So I couldn't think of anybody better to share and to discuss about this topic. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, my pleasure, Rihanna. I'm so delighted to be here. And I thought of what I would share with everyone today. And then, I said, just go on and be natural and just let it come from the heart. So, literally, no notes today. It's going to be you and I with all of our audience speaking from a place of coming from the heart, because I hope that what I've been able to learn, and it's a working progress. Is it 100% perfect? Not yet. But I think every day we are becoming the best version of ourselves. And if I can share some words of wisdom, of some tools, some of my golden nuggets that have worked for me, so that I can try to find that work-life balance, which it all starts in the mindset. We'll dive into that in a moment, and avoid from the what could be very scary, which is burnout. So I can't wait to get started.
So let's actually jump in and get started. And do you think there is like a work-life balance? I think that's the first question, right? From your point of view, from your perspective, uh, what are your thoughts?
So I believe that in this day and age, life is just different. It's not what it was 20 years ago. And work life balance is so different today than it was 20, 30 years ago. Why? Well, because it's good and it's bad, but this device has changed our lives. Before, before we all had phones and we were all connected all the time, you had to be in your office, in your work environment, to really be able to perform your job. Today we have the flexibility that we can actually be on the beach and yet try to get things done. And so it's just different today. And for me, I realized that it brought me harmony when I told myself, Luisa, it's all mindset. You get to wake up, you get to go on vacation, and you get to take 2 hours out of your vacation every day to check in on emails and stuff, so that you're not completely bombarded when you get back, right? So that for me has been so critical, is the mindset shift that vacation, what it is today, is not what it was 20 years ago. And that's okay. And I need to embrace that, Because if I'm trying to do life today the way that it was 20 years ago, like if my mom or my father, they're like, but we're on vacation and why are you working? I'm like, it's just different, guys. It's a different world. And so I think all of us have to adapt on what works for each one of us. But I think the most important thing for me and why this topic is so important is because burnout, I've seen people that it has just, it's very scary, right? Ariana Huffington writes about it in her book. And I think for me, Ariana Huffington was the first wake up call that she was going full force. She was working, 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 and never taking time for herself. And in her book, when she so vividly describes how she got up and she hit her head in the corner and blood was gushing, and she woke up and she's like, what am I doing all of this for? What? And so that for me was kind of my realization, because I had a scary moment. I was at a trade show in Colombia, in Bogota, NATO, and I was going, and a different altitude that'll right there, make things complicated, and not eating and not drinking enough water and not hydrating. And the last day of the show, I literally almost collapsed, and I was taken in, and the lady took my vital signs and she said, "Usted es una berraca." And I go, "Why do you say that?" She goes, "Your pulse, you should be passed out. I don't understand how you are, like your eyes are open and you're talking to me." And she was like, "Do you have family?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a little girl." And she goes, "What are you doing? Like, you have a daughter, you have your parents, you can't burn out." And that's the journey where I started a whole different prioritizing things differently, and just doing my morning rituals, and we'll get into my rituals and all of that. But I realized that I had to make a change, because I didn't want to end up like Ariana Huffington and so many people that have burnt out. And that was where my journey to finding that work life harmony came into place.
I think you touch on a lot of very important points. Uh, but one hit home for me, especially about the realization that we need to nurture ourselves. And I don't think we realize how important that is. The drinking the water, the making space for us. It doesn't have to be a long thing, right? Each one of us, and I know that you're going to share some tips with us, but have different ways. But we are very good at nurturing others. I would say, like, that's part of a lot of us who we are, right? We're always worried about making sure that everybody has what they need, and but we don't do that for ourselves. And I think of it now because somebody shared with me this thought earlier in the year, to say, as leaders, we're always being asked to walk the talk, right? We can't keep saying things and not delivering on what we're saying or what we're asking. And I think this is exactly the same. Like, we can't keep telling others that they need to take care of themselves. We can't keep nurturing others and then not do it ourselves for ourselves, right? It's not consistent, it's not cohesive, it doesn't make any sense. And that clicked on me, and as I hear your story, it was like, you're absolutely right. There's that inconsistency that for some reason we don't see, but then somebody needs to come in and sort of realize, like, hey, like, why are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense for us to really go down a certain path. But you have, like you mentioned, you have, many companies, not one, because why one, right? Like, many companies, many activities. You're a single parent. You have your parents also to take care of, and you will do things in other places as well. So it's not only the companies, like, you're spread in and impacting, creating great impact in a lot of places. So how do you find time for yourself?
That is such a great question. And it's probably one of the questions that I get asked the most. Um, For me, it's been a few things. So finding time for myself starts early in the morning, and I give myself the first hour every morning. That's Luisa time. So now that my daughter started high school, I have a high schooler. She started ninth grade yesterday, and she starts school at 7:15. So I try to be up by 5:30 in the morning so that I can do my whole ritual. And that really consists of, first and foremost, I wake up in gratitude. So before my eyes even open, I say to myself, what are three things that I'm grateful for today? Because there is proven scientific studies shown that when you are in gratitude, it helps you sleep better. It gives you better relationships. It helps you be more productive. It just, everything that happens in the brain, it rewires us. So for me, being in gratitude first thing before I even wake up, it's like, what am I grateful for today? And then, I go into my meditation. I literally roll on my knees, and I thank God for another day, to be alive, to be awake, to feel great that day. And I get up, and I have a whole thing of water by my side. So I have my morning water just to kind of wake up my body. And then right after that, I go into my gratitude writing. And now that I've woken up and my brain is working. And so, but I like to really focus on writing. For me, writing in the morning is so important. And I've done different methods, and now I do a daily devotional. I have different books that I read in the morning. They're like daily scriptures or just motivation. So, for example, one of them is the daily book of positive quotations. I have 365 days of brightness for a woman's heart. I have blessings for the morning. And so every day it has one. And then I go through each day, and I read something, and I read, and I capture that, and I write, what does it mean to me? I also learned on a YouTube video that I loved, how is it that some people are able to manifest so effectively? And I loved what this woman said, because she said, when you manifest, you make an affirmation, I am certain, versus, oh, I really hope. So instead of, so I write like whatever it is for the day. If it's you know so for example, I'll read you guys what one of my affirmations is, so that so that it makes sense. I believe that if you read it and you write it, and then it makes sense, right? So um for example, it says, I am certain and grateful that part of being successful in life is going the extra mile, because doing things that are going to build my character and make me disciplined and forms me into a great leader. So I am writing, I am certain, like whatever I abstract what it is, and then I put it into I am certain, versus I hope that I can be a great leader. I write, I am certain that I am a great leader, and I go into it as to why. So that has been helpful, because then it starts getting my mind wired. And then I go, and I take like 30 minutes to do this, which is super helpful. And then I get ready, and then I drop off my daughter, and then I go to the gym. And for me, gym time in the morning is critical. It's changed my life, because I feel more focused. I feel more energized. When I don't go to the gym, I feel it. And it just helps me release so much anxiety. Because as an entrepreneur, I think our brains are constantly working and constantly going, and all the coulds, would haves, and all of those things. And so at the gym, I'm able to just sweat it out, and that just puts me into a great place. And then I get ready, and I come, and by 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm already here, like 9:30 now, with the whole schedule change. I'm in my office, and I am able to really dive into my day. Also for me, it's having my daily to-do list is super important. And I'm old school. I've tried digital, but I like to check off my items. I love to check off my items. And then I actually realized that what's been really helpful to me as well is being able to delegate. That has been, if I can look at 2023 as what is one huge thing I have done this year, I hired a virtual assistant. I love her. She's the best. She like organizes my inbox. So by the time that I get into my inbox, I have my urgent file. She organizes all my files. So I have all my urgent files. It's the best investment. I highly recommend having a virtual assistant. And I hired, and then I have my bookkeeper who now handles all of my bookkeeping. And so I really believe that in order to take care of myself and have this extra time to do the things that are important to me, and so nothing slips through the cracks, is being able to delegate and having others assist me and help, and my team, growing the team and having multiple companies. I have to be able to delegate things to my team and know that they're going to get it done, and that I'm here to support and assist and help in any way that I can. But I feel that the more that I have been able to let go and let people really take on the tasks, it just makes everything so much better. And it's the only way I can keep on growing and keep on, thriving on starting other businesses. Because I realized that that's one of my callings is, being able to uh, unite forces with others to make, I love that part of the business, is the business formation and getting companies off the ground. So, but it's then developing a strong team. And those are, some of my gems that really work for me, in terms of being able to find that balance. And then I would say at night, where I want to get better, where I'm going to ask all of you guys to hold me accountable. Ideally, I would want to be able to do 10 minutes of yoga at night. I have the mat, I know what I want to do, but I am so exhausted by the time night comes that I just like take a shower and I pass out. But I'm going to start with 3 minutes. If I could do 2 stretches every night, and then I do go into meditation again, and I finish my day with what am I thankful. And the one thing, and honestly, like I guess you guys are picking up on how important gratitude is. The moment that my brain starts like, okay, so tomorrow we have this meeting, we have that, and did you think of, I'm like, stop. And I just, what am I grateful for? So I'm like, I'm thankful for my mom, I'm grateful for my dad, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And I fall asleep in gratitude, like in 3 minutes. It is the best way to shut the mind, because you can't be thinking about what you have to do tomorrow if you're thinking about things that make you happy and things that you're grateful for. And so that's kind of Luisa's day at a glance.
Oh my God, so many great gems, and we're hearing like some comments of gratitude for you to share those, especially the part of the virtual assistant. I know that I didn't know the assistants existed until like 3 years ago, and I was like, "What's that?" And once I learned, oh my God, yes, your world definitely changes. And at United Latinas, many of our members have virtual, are virtual assistants or have companies that have virtual assistants. So look, be a part of our community, because that's also important. You talk about delegating, and you can't delegate if you don't have a trusted community that will be aligned with how you work, with how you think, with what you believe in, and that's, I think, the power of this community, right? That we know that we are all striving for the same thing, that we're holding each other accountable, and that will help you hold yourself accountable for the yoga at night. Right, because it's the only way to really thrive, not only for ourselves but for all of us together. So that's just like, I just always love speaking with you and hearing about your story. So you've already shared a couple of best practices, a couple of books as well that have helped you, but has there been any like key thing that you say, this has been what has brought me to that, achieving that work life balance?
Whew, that's a good question, because I really believe it's the delegating, the not being so hard on myself, right? Like knowing that I'm human, and realizing that I like I always told my daughter, with me you're going to get quality, you're not going to get quantity. And so at first I would feel bad that like I couldn't be at all the parent teacher meetings, and I'm just not a PTA mom, and I never will be, because you can't do that if you're running multiple businesses. And with all of it, right? I think the most important thing, because I'm trying to now go even higher, is I think as women, we are so hard on ourselves, and we want to make sure que quedamos bien con mami, quedamos bien con papi, that we're, you know, and learning to say no, and learning to know that you have to put on that oxygen mask, right? There's a reason on the plane why they say, in case of an emergency, make sure you put on the oxygen mask first before you assist others. And I had the opportunity to work with Diana Wasserman Rubin when I was in Fort Lauderdale, and I helped her on her campaign. And I was in college, and I worked on her campaign. And one of the things that really struck me was when she said that to me. She said, you know, as women, we're caretakers, we're nurturers, we want to make sure everybody's good, and we forget to take care of ourselves. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that that is so critical for us to really realize that it's not being selfish. But if I'm not okay, I can't take care of my peoples. That if Luisa's not getting 8 hours of sleep at night, I'm not going to function the right way the next day, right? So it's okay to be selfish, because you have to love yourself. And it's being able to change the mindset, because for many, selfish has this connotation of you're only focused on yourself. And when you can change that word selfish for self love, I'm going to take care of me so I can take care of you. It's such a game changer. And even last week that we were on vacation, I mean, I love my family. We were together all day, every day. And I was like, I need to go run some errands. Like, I needed me time. And I realized that I am that for me, having my own time, because my daughter was sleeping with me at night. And usually night times is me time. So I realized that we all have to find out what it is in our day that makes us happy. Is it going to the gym? Is it doing yoga? Whatever that is. But I guess the message to wrap it all up in a beautiful bow to you guys and ladies, is to make sure that you take care of yourselves by putting on the oxygen mask first. That if you don't take care of you, no one else will, because our kids think we are superwomen, and our parents think we can handle it all. And sometimes we try to juggle so many things, and it's not healthy. And it's okay to say, guys, I love you, but I can't do that tomorrow. I'm going to need you to catch a ride home. Or, mommy, I already did all of this for you today. That one thing, I'll do it tomorrow. I just don't have time today. And not feeling bad. Because if we don't set boundaries, we get what we tolerate. And if we don't set boundaries for ourselves, people will ask more and more, because that's just human nature. So I think as women, as Latinas in particular, we need to set those boundaries. We need to put on the oxygen mask, and we need to make sure that we're not thinking it's selfish, but it's self love. And it all starts with us, how we love ourselves and how we show up. Because when people see that we're healthy and that we, people tell me all the time, Lisa, you look younger now. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. But it's those things, right? It's like it's the little things sometimes. Like in the shower, I got the little blade, and I love to like massage my face with it. It's 2 minutes. But for me, mentally, psychologically, whatever, I feel like I'm rejuvenating. And so that I think has really been the most important thing to me, Ileana, is to make sure that I put on the oxygen mask, and that I am giving myself that much needed self love.
I love that. And I'm gonna add to what you're saying about the not feeling the guilt and the shame that comes with the selflessness or the self-love that you mentioned, because that's big for women in general and for Latina women, in addition. And there's research that goes about that says that the shame and the guilt is real, right? For a lot of different reasons. But I love what you're saying about showing ourselves grace, the same grace that we show others, showing it for ourselves. And you just mentioned something critically important that was a wake up call for me, was what am I teaching then my kids? Right?
Boom.
Because in a way, it's not only for them because I care for them and because I want to be present and I don't want to, pass out somewhere. It's what am I'm teaching them that if I don't care for myself, they're learning that they don't have to take care of themselves. And then it just this is generational, right? Like this is
Yes.
generational trauma that we're passing on in some
Oh my
way or
God, we're so
form.
synchronized. I was
And
literally that
and
as
that
if you
was,
saying that.
yeah, and that was my wake up. There were many, but that was like a big one in that moment, that I just was in this chaotic crisis moment. And then I turned and I saw them, and I was like, okay, I need to get my act together. This is now not for me, but because I can't be good with myself if this is what I'm teaching them, even though I'm saying something different. So I love what you're saying. I think it's critically important.
Absolutely. And no, and I think you make a really good point with that because um, from time to time, my daughter will say things, and I'm like, ha, she is learning. I am doing a good job. Or, and when it comes to self love, the other day, it was early in the morning and very early in the morning, and I needed her to do something. And she said, and again, I always say it's all about respect. It's not what we say, it's how we say it. And she said, Mom, I just need 10 minutes. I haven't been fully awoke. I need to wake up first, and then let me do my little morning ritual, and I'll be right there. And I was so happy that she did that because I realized, she sees me that I have my morning is so important to start my day. And before she does anything else, I want her to take care of herself. And so I think that's where raising the generations differently and breaking these chains from so many generations that it was disrespect if you didn't like jump at the beck and call of your parents. And not to say if she would have been rude about it, it would have been a different story. But she was so like just real and like, hey mom, I just need 10 minutes. I'm just waking up. Let me just take my time. And I was like, of course, baby, take 20 minutes. It's not urgent. So I think at the end of the day, as parents, everything we do, our children are seeing it, and we become, right, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So what kind of tree are we planting ourselves, are we growing into, so that our children, hopefully we give them the best example of not burning out. And especially like they see it all the time when they have tests coming up and things, and it's like, how do you take care of yourself in those moments? And there are moments, and I think that's also important, is scheduling. I have my week at a glance. I go through my week. I set priorities. I say, guys, Thursday I'm not available. These times can't count on mommy. And these days I'll be traveling. I travel so much for work. So I think the most important thing for me, and I want to make sure I touch on that, is scheduling your time. And in your schedule, scheduling time with yourself. I schedule my time for my lunch. I schedule my morning routine time. I'm going to get better at that night evening routine and schedule my yoga time. That's probably why I haven't done it, because I haven't scheduled it. So I think scheduling goes a long way as well in helping you prioritize it. Because if you have an alarm, if you have it set, then it'll help you hopefully achieve what you're trying to in the day.
Oh my God. I wish we had more time. You have shared so many incredible, insights and tips on how to go about it. It's no surprise that you've been able to accomplish so much with all of your companies, with having, all this energy, but also all this structure on how to go about your day. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing with us. And we'll have to bring you back so that we can continue the conversation, not only on this, but on many other topics, because you have so much to share. Your journey has just been amazing. And we're just so grateful that you're part of our community.
Thank you so much, Adriana, and look forward to being back.
Thank you. Thank you. And everybody, don't forget, we have several events coming up. Again, this is part of a thriving community. We have our Latina leadership meeting happening on December, not December, sorry, September 19th. So look that out in our website to sign up. We have our Hispanic Heritage Month event happening from 12 Eastern time to 4 Eastern time. We have just an amazing lineup of speakers. They're all amazing. All of our conferences. Luisa was part of our previous conferences back this early this year. So you can attest that it's just a great, great place to be. It's virtual. That's happening on October 12th. You can also find the information on our website. And then we have our Latina Speakers Circle for all of our premium members, or for those of you that want to become speakers, or there are speakers and you just want to continue to improve your speaking, your public speaking skills. We have our Latina Speakers Circle, so that's happening on October 18th, and we have a couple of other events that are probably going to go out next week for October as well. So thank you, Luisa. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you, everybody, for joining, for your comments, for your notes of appreciation. Uh, we really cherish those, and we're grateful for all of you. Thank you so much, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day wherever in the world you are. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Have a good one.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.